Walking through death row, seeing these men, as I do frequently, I am impressed by their humanity, nothing more than that. They are folks like me who made a horrible mistake. Yeah, okay. Thank God I have not made such a horrible mistake. But as far as human beings, they are there. Men who have, many of whom at least, have long since repented of their crime. And again, terrible crimes, and I appreciate the suffering of the family of the victims and all that. I do, I try to. But what I see when I walk through there are human beings who are loved by God and who deserve something better, I think, than this kind of end.
The closer they get to death, the more seriously they take it. A good example of that would be Gregory Scott Johnson. One day he asked me, when I was up taking communion to the Catholics, I walked by, and he said, you suppose it'd be possible for me to become a Catholic, considering everything I have done? Now, see, Greg never denied that he had committed murder. Greg took his faith very seriously. I was at his execution. I was with him the last week. Either myself or Father Tom McNally would be with him every day for as long as he wanted to talk to us. And the last day, of course, we were there with him from about 11 o'clock in the morning till the time he was executed. There was no doubt about Greg's disposition. He knew he had accepted Jesus. He knew that he had been forgiven by God, and I believe he had actually learned to forgive himself. The last thing he said to me was, "I'll see you on the other side." He died with a smile on his face. He looked up, to see that Father Tom and I were there, and he saw us and he gave us a thumbs up, And I thought it was just amazing. I have no doubt where Greg went.
It's to me a very strange experience. I think my reaction in both cases was that of numbness, almost like denial of what I've just witnessed. It was that kind of a feeling. There's an antiseptic quality about it. You see the man on a gurney. He waves goodbye. You wave goodbye to him. And in a very short time, he's dead. It's like, and then you are asked to get up and leave and go to the parking lot. It's like, what went on here?
Larry Belmore was on death row, but he got it commuted to a shorter term. I believe it's 60 years. And he, too, is a Catholic. In fact, he was president of the Catholic community in there until the time they transferred him to Wabash Valley. Here's a man that came from death row out in the general population, and then he had, I think he's at level 3 now, and he's up for parole. There's a possibility he will be paroled, but he has turned his life around completely with God's help, and he keeps, especially the young ones, the new ones that come into prison, he keeps them out of trouble. Everybody that comes in there is angry, and he has learned how to help them people deal with that anger, avoid trouble. Young kids there's always a possibility of sexual abuse, and he teaches them how to avoid putting themselves in a situation where they could be abused.
Well, I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. Grew up mainly on the west side until I went into the service in '66. That's pretty much where I stayed. When I come out of the service, I moved around quite a bit, mainly down south, Tennessee, Arkansas, Florida, Texas. I really believe, though, when I come back numb, everything just was, I was still numb. You did a lot of things over there that was called for, but I mean, you know, how you send a 19-year-old kid into a battle zone and teach them how to kill. You know, you teach them how to kill. This is what you're supposed to do, and then you turn around and instead of coming back and going through a process of debriefing, okay, you're free, go, don't kill nobody. I really didn't have a conscience as far as what was going on, what I was doing, or really didn't have any high regards for, you know, the human race, period. I think I'm a little more compassionate toward other people. I may still be grumpy, but I'm still compassionate. I feel like I am. I feel like I've learned to, as a lot of people say, walk the walk and not just talk to talk. And that's something that you have to learn to do. If you're going to tell somebody you're a certain way, if you're going to tell somebody you're religious and this is your faith and this is what you believe in, then you have to not only tell them this, but you have to show them by the way you walk on a daily basis. And I try to do this. If you see somebody, and I've found myself being this way, you see somebody that comes in that doesn't have anything. I mean, they come in and they're new. They don't have nothing. I find myself talking to them, and it doesn't make any difference to me anymore what their crimes are, or you know, what they profess to be or anything else. I'll talk to them. If they need something, I'll try to help them. And then try to steer them to the right way. You know, I'll invite them to Catholic Mass. You know, come over, look and see. But I won't force anything on anybody. They have to accept it. They have to want to be helped. You can go back on death row right now or go back on death row, any death row, and you cannot find any one person that's so low that he's not a human. There is nobody, because given the opportunity, everybody can change. Everybody. I don't care who it is. You can make that change.
Grew up in Evansville, was a West Sider. I have an older brother and a younger sister. We're extremely close. We have 4 children. My oldest was Natalie, who was murdered by Eric. Natalie stepped in front of the gun. She stepped in front of the gun and she took Tracy and pushed Tracy out the door. And Eric had the gun 10 inches to Natalie's head. And he shot Natalie in the back of the head. And she pushed Tracy out the door. Now Natalie gave her life for another. With Natalie giving her life for another, how can I teach her children to hate? How can I take another person's life? Natalie's death would be for nothing. You can't lead your life in hate. It would destroy all of us. We're taught to pray for one another. And you can't be angry at somebody when you pray for them. And the first time I prayed for Eric, I told God, I said, all right, God, we're supposed to pray for one another. So that's your prayer? Because I don't wish Eric anything good. I wouldn't walk across the street to get him a glass of water if he was dying of thirst. But you said I was supposed to pray. So there's your prayer. You take it. And that's the best I could pray for Eric. As time went on, and I let go and let God, God's peace grew. And the anger was gone. I pray for Eric's soul. I pray that he can know God. God will judge Eric. God will handle the whole thing for us. We don't have to sit here and say, well, I want Eric to have the death penalty. I want Eric to be beat, cut off his legs. I don't care what it is. We don't have to feel any of that. We don't have to think any of that, because God has control. God will take care of all this for us. All we have to do is let God. They can let him stay in the prison for the rest of his life, but when he dies, our Lord will judge him. And if he becomes to the point where he knows our Lord, he will get into heaven. He will get into heaven. When they put him to death, what are we supposed to do? What do you do when you know that somebody is going to be put to death? Are you supposed to go out and party? You know, like I say, that's what my daughter died, that people can live. I can't rejoice. It won't take any of the pain away. It won't bring back Natalie. Won't bring back Tony or Debbie. It's not going to give my children their sister back, their mother or father back. It's not going to make our life any easier, because I can't imagine even one thing that the death penalty for Eric to die that it's going to give us will give us absolutely nothing.
I really believe that if other people could see this, could witness what goes on, even though it's very antiseptic, it's not like a horror movie, I think that they would also come to a realization that something about this scene is wrong. We should not be doing this. I believe they would.